Let's make some noise. Come on.
Yes, indeedy, Nick Foles. Yes, the hype man lives. What's going on, everybody? It's great to be back. Another beginning of a broadcast week, and we got a lot to go over. Yes, this show is titled The Final Word, and it is the final word in your Philadelphia sports day, but we have not spoken since, I think, Wednesday on this program. So this is almost like a final, I don't want to use wraparound, final summary of what's been happening over the last few days, because I have not had the opportunity to put my cherry on top of the Eagles game on Thursday night. And I'm definitely going to take that opportunity now, today, in my own unique way, the way I do things. We got somewhat of a situation, little drama unfolding with the baseball team. 2 out of 3 down in Miami, but at what cost? Trey Turner tweaking the hammy, it looks like, again. The last time that happened, last year, he was out 6 weeks. Is that what's, in store for Trey Turner? And how does that affect the Phillies as they move down the stretch in this pennant race? And also, as I brought up on the Fightins Final earlier today, for those of you that did not see it, I'll rehash it. What really does Bryce Harper do for the Philadelphia Phillies? And I think it's a question that needs to be asked. And I think it's a legitimate question, because since 2022, I don't know where he's earning the $300 million that the Phillies are paying. So that's on the table as well. Of course, also the Flyers. We're going to talk some Flyers tonight, because it's part of the other night segment anyway. But the Flyers made a trade late last week. Not much of a needle mover at all. It doesn't really fill any need on this team in 25-26, and it certainly doesn't help them get any closer to a Stanley Cup. But we'll maybe kick the tires on that as well. Your day in Philadelphia sports history, your card segment as well. All of that is back here on the program tonight as we get ready to kick off another week, as your week 1 in the NFL is coming down the stretch. Buffalo is doing battle at Baltimore right now, and then I think tomorrow night it's Minnesota and Chicago. Is that the game tomorrow? And that'll wrap up week 1, and we'll head over to week 2. But we definitely are not going to motor past the Eagles for week 1, because I do have a lot to say about that. So let's get it rolling here on the program. Joe Hale is going on, my friend. Matt, Ricky, how you been? I haven't seen you around lately, Ricky. I know I haven't been around technically on this show over the last few days, but I think I've seen you. You've been sort of MIA, my man. I'm wrapping up a very busy day on the network, probably our busiest since we were born, which is coming up to a year. We're almost at a year anniversary for the It's a Wrap Sports Network. October 7th will be our 1-year birthday / anniversary. That day in 24 is when I launched the network with the Final Word with MattyB. That was the first show, the first ever show on the network. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that. But in that time, we have grown expeditiously. And today was an example of that when we welcomed on the Steel City Sunday boys, the Pittsburgh Steelers pre and post game. They had themselves a little bit of, opening day jitters. Some technical problems that I'm certain they're going to work through over the course of the next few days to make sure when they come back out for week 2, it's that much better. But the show was really good. Both they did a pre and a post game. Outstanding content, great guests. Guys know what they're talking about. Technical things will work themselves out. So I want to welcome them aboard. It was largely a successful day for them, and they pretty much dominated your broadcast day here on the network, as the It's a Wrap Sports Network is sort of spreading our wings a little bit outside the Delaware Valley, going to go statewide now that we got them. So here's to them. Congratulations on launching the show, and congratulations on your arrival here to the network. And then, of course, another thing that happened this week, it became too much for me to manage with all the show reads and the ads that we do. So it was time to create a schedule. That schedule is out for the week, and I'll show it to you right here. This is the Generation 1 It's a Wrap Sports schedule. I'm sure this is going to change. The format will probably about 1,000 times, but it's a good thing when you've got so much going on that you really you kind of have to put it on paper. And this is our schedule for the upcoming week as we sit today. I am the wrap up of your Sunday. Then tomorrow you got Phillies Mets, and you got me, but that's actually not even right because I have the Phillies Mets tomorrow. So I will not be doing a show tomorrow night. But then you got Phillies Mets on Wednesday or Tuesday along with me. Wednesday, you got props, locks, and parlays, the Mets and Phillies, and the final word with me. Actually, I don't think that's going to happen either because I got the post game on Wednesday as well. Thursday, the Birds Blast, attacking third, Phillies Mets post game, and me. Friday is the Phillies Royals Fightings final, the wraparound, and then on Saturday, you got Penn State Villanova, Happy Valley Huddle, and then some Fightings final. So we've gotten to a point now where it's time to do a schedule. And as I said, that's a good thing. And that says that we're growing. So I want to thank everybody out there for the continued success and support. We're just scratching the surface of what we hope this will be. The overarching intent of this show and this network is to take over essentially the terrestrial radio model of 24 hours a day, 7 days a week sports talk. On this network. We are probably, to be generous, about 1 million miles away from that goal, but, we are getting closer, and the growth that we have had in the last year, or not even the year, 11 months, really speaks volumes to the work, the dedication of the people here, and you guys, the people that support this page, support this channel, support this network. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. For the momentum and the gain that we've had. And actually, we've had a really, really good week. I think I've gained like 15 YouTube subscribers this week. So thank you for that. And let's keep it rolling and let's keep it going. So, but again, a lot on the table tonight. We have to, of course, address the Eagles because I haven't had a chance to, man. I have not had my opportunity to talk Eagles football. So I definitely want to get into that. Joe says, I noticed most playoff teams in the NFL have struggled. Joe, listen, and this is what I said this kind of going into the season, and I meant this, and I don't know if you remember, I don't know if it was on the Birds, but it was on this show. If there's any league out there where parity reigns supreme, and it's got to be the NFL. The NFL, to me, out of all the four major sports, is the most turnover league year to year. You can't necessarily set your watch by anything that happened in 2024 or the year prior to what's going to happen the following year. And that's one of the good things about the NFL is because there's such parity there. And I warned Eagles fans heading into this season that this was not 2024 part 2. This was 2025. And based on the performance the other night against the Dallas Cowboys, and we're going to get into that this a little bit more deeper here in a second. Obviously, the expectation is set for this team to repeat as Super Bowl champions. I cautioned everybody out there that I didn't think that there was enough done or potentially the wrong things done in free agency leading up to this season, especially on the defense, to really kind of wrap my head around repeating. And then, you got to let these games play out. The schedule is going to be harder. And this is for all those, as you mentioned, the playoff teams have struggled, But in my mind's eye, there are no playoff teams. Everybody's, either 1-0, 0-1, or 0-0. You know what I'm saying? There is no playoff. That's over. That's done. It's history. It's in the past. And I think that's a key point to my discussion tonight with this, especially this game against the Cowboys. But you're right, theoretically, that it hasn't been for the perennials a fast start. But again, it's a whole new season. Ryan, what's going on, man? How are you? Good to see you tonight. Matt, can we celebrate my birthday when it comes in October? Wait, what do you mean? Like I take you to a bar or something there, Ricky? I don't know, man. Now, be a little bit more specific. What do you want me to do? So I was right on my prediction, Matty, about Pittsburgh sports coming on here. You didn't want to give it away. Yeah, no, I didn't want to give it away. It's we had something in the works earlier this summer with another group from Pittsburgh. That didn't work out. So one of the members of that group actually reached back out and said, listen, I got another project I'm working on, and, I'd like another shot. And, they pitched it to us. And, I am in a position where, content is king, right? And if I want to have 24 hours, 7 days a week coverage, well, I need the people here to do it. So it's not like it's like an open turnstile, like everybody come in, but if you sell me on a pitch, I'm going to give you a shot, and it doesn't take much to sell me. But so yeah, I let those guys come on in. We we discussed it for a few weeks, and then they got the opportunity, and that's all anybody can ever want in this world is an opportunity. And what you do with that opportunity totally is up to you. And I'm given opportunities. So, and again, I'm always out there looking for the next best thing or the next great thing. Somebody gave me a chance a long time ago. And that's how you find the next generation. So, if you know anybody out there that wants to get involved in this business, in this network, by doing show content, the email is running down there on the ticker. Reach out to us through the email, and I will either myself or somebody from the network will get back to you. So I welcome the Pittsburgh Sports Desk. They had a great show today, as I mentioned. A little bit of technical hiccups, some microphones, some audio issues. They're doing it remotely, so it's a whole other ball of wax when it comes to doing stuff remotely than versus inside of a home studio or a studio. All the things that can go wrong remotely typically do. And it takes some time to kind of work through that. So all in all, they did a great job. And I'm very happy that they're here. And I cannot wait to see what they do in the future. How can we get involved? And what aspect, Ryan? Be more specific. And you forgot to mention Pat came back. Yeah, well, he came back for about 5 minutes. Then he went back off again. Still dealing with the internet problems. Me and Pat had a heart-to-heart earlier in the week about that. Pat's out there again. There's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes here that nobody sees. And Pat's one of the people that's sort of spearheading this when it comes to recruitment and stuff like that. And he's doing a great job, but I had to sit him down and tell him, I need you back on the air. So I need you to focus a little bit more of your attention on the internet problem. And it looked like it was working there for about 5 minutes. I didn't watch it live. I ended up watching it later on in the day, but we're still dealing with that. So Pat did come back. It was good to see him, but he's not fully restored yet, and we're still trying to work through those issues. Do you do SOPA? The hell's that? What's SOPA, Ryan? Can we celebrate my birthday on live? Sure, Ricky. We can. I'll have you on your birthday. Ricky, come on this show every day anyway. But yeah, absolutely. You can come on for your birthday. What's SOPA, Ryan? I never heard of that. All right, so let's go because we got a lot to talk about tonight, and I want to get into it as fast as I possibly can. So let's strap it in, strap it on, strap it up, and put your head, hands, and feet inside the car at all times. And here we roll on your night in Philadelphia sports history. Back on this night in 1911, and yes, I always got to put the disclaimer out there that no, I was not here personally or there personally to see this or witness this, but on this day in 1911, baseball's quintessential passing of the torch occurred. 24-year-old future Hall of Famer Grover Cleveland Alexander won his rookie record 23rd game in a 1-0 Phillies win over the Boston Rustlers. Can't make this stuff out. Alexander fittily earned the win against pitching award namesake Cy Young. Young, who was 44 at this time in his final major league season, Grover Cleveland Alexander finished that season with 28 wins. So the passing of the torch occurred on this day in 1911 from Cy Young to Grover Cleveland Alexander. Ooh, man, we're going way back on this one. Grover Cleveland, of course, one of the best Phillies pitchers in all time that barely gets talked about anymore because of his such a long time ago that it occurred. Most people don't even remember who he is. They see they see his thing that he doesn't even have a number out there. He's just got this the symbol because I don't think they had numbers back then. But definitely one of the best pitchers in Phillies history, and of course a Hall of Famer. And on this night in 1911, he went head-to-head against Cy Young and ended up beating him for his 23rd win of the season. So there you go. The passing of the torch between Grover Cleveland Alexander and Cy Young occurred on this night back in 1911. And there you have your day in Philadelphia sports history, brought to you by the fine folks here at the network that bring you such good programming as the Birds Fly By, off and running in 2025. Don't forget, they'll be back next Sunday night around 7:30 to take you through Eagles-Chiefs in an interesting game. Pretty much a must-win for the Kansas City Chiefs based on how they came out the gates in Brazil. And, must-win for the Eagles, as I think they want to play a little bit more smoother. But we will have you covered for all post-game activities. Eagles, Chiefs, Birds Fly By next Sunday at around 7:30-ish. And that's a great segue because we definitely want to talk some Eagles. Joe Hale's asking, are the phone lines open up tonight? Yeah, I think they will. I think I'm opening them up. Let me get through this little rant about the Eagles, and then I'll open them up. So let's get into the Eagles here. Matt, I don't know what remotely is. So when I say remote I mean they went out from their comfort of their own studio, either it be a home studio or a actual studio, and they go to a location and broadcast from. Typically it's a bar of some sort or some sort of sports venue of some sort, and they do the show from there. And that's where these guys, they'll be doing their show remotely from a bar in the Pittsburgh area every week. And the stuff you have to deal with when you go out remotely or when you go to a location, there's so many more hiccups involved. You have to deal with the crowd noise. You got to deal with the establishment noise. 9 times out of 10, your equipment fails at some point. The internet signal might not be good. I mean, there's just so many things that go wrong or could go wrong, and they typically all do. Back in my EOP days, we used to go to a place called the Streetlight in hell was that at? It was in Delco. I forget. It'll come to me. But we used to go there, and we did a couple of shows from there, a couple of fights, finals. And we had audio problems there as well. So it always seems to follow you out the door. But for those guys to actually go out there and do it, as I said, it's a challenge. It's a challenge. How do I do remotely? Buy some equipment, go to a place, tell them you want to broadcast from there, and there you go, Rick. You're all set. That's pretty much how you do it. Just how you do it here is just that you go somewhere else and do it, but you got to get the people's permission first. Just can't set up. But yeah, so that's what remotely means. I'm sorry, like on location, I guess. But I do want to get into some Eagles talk because this is pretty much why I've been waiting all freaking weekend to do this. I've been waiting all weekend to kind of jump on what's been happening or what is the aftermath of the Dallas Cowboy game. 24-20, Eagles with the win. But there's a lot of things that I think that one, Philadelphia Eagles fans should be, feeling pretty lucky, especially on Friday morning. The Eagles played a terrible football game. Absolutely a terrible football game. And if it wasn't for the feet and legs of Jalen Hurts, they don't win this football game. And I want to get into some specifics about it. I want to talk about where I think things went wrong. I want to talk about potential, going forward, what this might look like. And before I start, though, I want to go back to kind of what Joe Hale said earlier about how playoff teams are struggling, it seems, off the gate. And I want to get into that mindset. And I want to and I want to use that to start this off because all offseason, Eagles fans, rightfully so, are pumping out their chests for what they accomplished in 2024. 100%. it's warranted. They're the Super Bowl champions. They raised the banner the other night. There was a lot of that residual, we are the champ, 2024 good vibes going on. But as I've said multiple times, this is not 2024. And that the only people that I think, and I hope the Eagles as a team are not feeling this, I don't think they are, but the only people that are still holding on to that is the fan base. And I know leading up to this game against Dallas, everybody wanted to sound objective when they gave their picks for this game. I heard a lot of, and I picked the Eagles to win 28-21, and I actually believed that was going to be the score. But when you would talk to some Eagles fans and they would give you a prediction for this game, you always heard the typical, I think 30 to 19 or 30 to 20 or something in those lines, right? They didn't want to say it's going to be a blowout. They didn't want to say that they expect the Eagles to go in there and actually dominate the Dallas Cowboys. But that's what they were mainly feeling. And I don't mean just one side of the fan base. I mean collectively as a fan base, most Eagle fans inside their minds and hearts believe that this game is going to be an utter bloodbath for the Eagles. But they don't want to say those things because it does sound, yes, it sounds very homerish, right? It does. They come out and say that. But that's the problem here. And not the homers, but the problem is the mindset of this fan base. We had a similar situation coming out of 17 into 18. They struggled in that first game against the Falcons. And then they come out into this game, and it was a struggle for them. It was a struggle for them on defense. Now, the offense looked somewhat they were moving the football, 21 first half points they scored, but Dallas answered with, what was Dallas? Did Dallas score all 20 points of theirs in the first half? I mean, it was a back and forth type of game. The Eagle defense was powerless to stop anybody. And I'm going to get into Jalen Carter. I'm going to get into that. But there were some technical problems on the defense that Jalen Carter maybe being there might have been different. I don't know. But that wasn't going to help the secondary. And yes, in some cases, maybe it did. Maybe Dak doesn't have all that time to sit back there because Dak was somewhat unpressured all night. The Eagles got better with putting pressure on him towards the end of the game. But for the most part, Dak Prescott stood back there and did what he wanted to do. And even when he got pressured and had to move out of the pocket, the Eagles were unable to bring him down. And he was still able to make plays happen at an alarming rate. CeeDee Lamb, of course, I mean, is he the biggest MVP for you? Because he's mine. Because without the contributions of CeeDee Lamb, the Eagles do not win that football game. I mean, or with the contributions. If he would actually know how to catch, we don't win this game. And we can analyze up and down about the ramifications of the Jalen Carter spitting incident. And I am going to throw my 2 cents into that all you want. But honestly believe that if CeeDee Lamb is able to catch at least 2 of those balls that he dropped, the Eagles lose this game. The secondary, Adoree Jackson and whoever else they threw out there was powerless to stop anybody. Again, I went on about this. Were these the great the right moves that Howie should have made coming out of a Super Bowl season? Obviously, on game 1, week 1, it didn't seem that way because the defense couldn't stop me. Offensively, they moved the ball efficiently. Is there some concern about Jalen Hurts' inability to throw the ball down the field? All right. I mean, yeah, and I can't believe I'm about to give him props on this, but he was most effective with throwing the ball across the middle of the field. I think he completed 4 passes to the middle of the field, which for the 48 that he completed all of last year to the middle of the field, I mean, that's like a quarter's worth of the work that he did in one game. But is anybody else concerned about the lack of targets and receptions from Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown? Again, let's not homer this up. Let's be honest. Why couldn't Jalen Hurts get the ball downfield? Dallas has got a decent secondary. Not that good. Where they should be able to bottle up a perennial all-pro in A.J. Brown. Because that's what I always hear about the perennialness of A.J. Brown being a great wide receiver. and Devontae Smith. They were bottled up the entire game. Why couldn't Jalen Hurts get the ball down the field? Now, Jalen Hurts did save the day with his legs and his feet. But that also brings up another point. Is this what Jalen Hurts is going to be now as a rushing quarterback? He outrushed Saquon Barkley, for God's sakes, in this game. And I want to talk about Saquon too. So there's some concerns with the deep ball. There's some concerns with the fact that in the entire game, what was the final numbers on AJ? Well, you got targeted one time. So here are your receiving leaders. Now, Dotson was your leader with 3 receptions on 59 yards. So it was that big 19-yard gain, or that big 51-yard gain down the seam. That was really his big thing. He was targeted 3 times. Dallas Goedert was targeted 7 times and had 7 receptions for 44 yards. Obviously, the biggest contributor, the biggest target of the night. Devontae Smith had 3 receptions and was targeted 3 times. A.J. Brown had 1 reception and was targeted once. You're never going to excuse away the fact that A.J. Brown got 1 target all night long. You're never going to be able to do that to me, because he's supposed to be this otherworldly type of player. And don't tell me that the game plan was to use A.J. Brown as a decoy because he was hurt. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. Why couldn't Jalen Hurts get the ball down the field? Now, Jalen Hurts was sacked once. He ran a bunch. What's his reception or his rushing total? 14 carries for 62 yards and 2 major touchdowns. So Jalen Hurts really was sort of the catalyst of the Eagle offense with his feet. Saquon, on the other hand, rushed the football 18 times for 60 yards and a 3.3 average and a touchdown. Okay. What's going on with Saquon? Was that the Saquon we were waiting for? I mean, I know I was waiting all game for that home run, that 70-yard run. That never came. Saquon did a lot of dinking and dancing and was very effective offensively and was a major part of the offense. But he never broke it open, and he got outrushed by the quarterback. Is that a concern? That's far cry from his 140-yard average of last year. And as I mentioned, what was one of the consistent things about 2024 was Saquon delivered the crushing blow at some point in the second half. That never came in this game. I'm not telling you I thought Saquon looked slow. He didn't. But in the same word, he kind of did, because he never got that run that would seal it. And that was the MO and the recipe all last year. So the concerns for me lie equally upon the defense and the offense. Now, Jalen Carter, all right, obviously, when you start a game and you lose your fullback on the opening kickoff, and then you don't even get a play started, and you got Jalen Carter getting ejected for spitting at a player, you got to be better than that. You got to be better. And I don't really care who initiated it. I don't care who started it. I care about who got ejected for it. And you can't fall into that trap, man. You just can't. And, kudos to Dak Prescott. Absolutely. Mission accomplished, man. You got him thrown out of the game. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing that he got thrown out for that, because it's embarrassing that he let Dak Prescott walk him down that path. Listen, it's all a chess game out there. Everything. Every little advantage an opposing player can get on top of you, they're going to try to take. And Jalen Carter took the bait and got ejected. Stupid. 100% stupid. I don't care the reason. I don't care about the spitting. I don't care why he got ejected. The fact that he let himself get ejected is the problem. And this is a guy that you want to break the bank over. That's a problem too. So Jalen Carter hurt his football team. What level did he hurt him? Yeah, unknown, right? Unknown. And I'm sure it was pretty extensive, especially with Dak Prescott. But Dak saw his enemy. He took care of him. kudos to Dak Prescott, 100%. I applaud him. He won the chess match in that specific situation. And I'm not going to get into the spitting. Who cares what he did? He got thrown out. That's the bottom line. So all in all, a win for the Eagles. A second half that saw the Eagles score 3 points and pretty much not be able to move the football at all. Saw the weather delay, saw all that, and then saw CeeDee Lamb pretty much give the game right to the Eagles. So coming out of this game 1-0, it's a win. Where do we go from here? Well, I think the first place we need to go is to the reality that this is not 2024. And I'm not saying that to say that they can't win a Super Bowl. I don't think they will. But to get out of the mindset, we can hopefully leave 2024 back there now. And we can focus on the opponent in front of us at that time and try to play the best to our ability and find out what's going on, why Jalen Hurts could not throw the football down the middle of the field, and what is really up with the secondary. Now, they went out and they signed the former Texans lineman, Javarius Smith, over the week. Is that because Jalen Carter is going to get suspended? Is that because Howie realized that he's got no edge rushing this year? It's a little weak. Again, you let Josh Sweat walk away, and you didn't replace him adequately enough. So, is there concern at 1-0? Is there a concern at 1-0? Is there a concern about 2025 at 1-0, or is there a concern at 2024 part 2 that they're 1-0? Meaning, are you concerned the way they got the win based on how last season went, or are you just okay because it's a whole new season with a whole bunch of new trials and tribulations, and you got to start somewhere, and they got the win? I don't know the answer to that. I know where I come out on that I saw some things that did not make me feel good about this football team going forward into the season. Saquon Barkley just looked human. Saquon Barkley looked human in this game. And that's the first time Saquon Barkley has looked human ever since he's been here. Jalen Hurts game managed the hell out of that football game and did what he had to do to help this team win. Nothing elite about what Jalen Hurts did the other night. No, not at all. He just did what he had to do. Why couldn't A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith get involved? What's the answer in the secondary, and what's the answer up front when it comes to the pass rush? So a lot of definite questions that I have, and what this team will look like in 2025. So, yeah, I mean, it's a win. It's going to be a very interesting game in Kansas City on Sunday with the Chiefs with their back against the wall after losing in Brazil. And Pat Mahomes, if you want to see what an elite quarterback looks like, just watch Pat Mahomes. Go back and watch Friday's game. Yeah, they lost. But look at some of the throws Mahomes was making. I mean, I saw 2 throws where he was completely laid out, like diving through the air, and then he just flicks the ball down the field 65 yards. Just look at those throws, and that'll tell you what an elite quarterback looks like. And that ain't Jalen Hurts. Hell no. Jalen Hurts couldn't do that stuff. Not at all. So interesting going forward. Going to be an interesting game. Backs are against the wall. The Chiefs are. So we'll see what we can do. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Again, I just gave you my 2 cents, Joe. I think it was, regardless of why he got ejected, the fact that he got ejected is selfish and stupid. And he fell into a trap. And hopefully he learned something. I don't know, Ricky. We'll talk. I hate the new changes. So I hate the rule changes. You mean the new rule changes? So the Eagles also on the penalty side of things, 9 penalties for 110 yards. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. Whether or not you're not digging the taunting or what was the Blankenship one where he went to the head, whether or not you're not digging that stuff, and whether you think it's kind of tic-tac, I agree. We've almost kind of come full circle with wokeness in the NFL when it comes to this is a violent sport, and they're trying to really contain that. I don't know how much you really can do. And it's backfiring because now every fan everywhere, every hit is looking for a penalty, and that's terrible. I don't like them either. Let the players play. Taunting is part of the game, man. I'm sorry. It is. It's a great part of the game. It's fun. It's absolutely fun. And if, taunting is illegal, then technically Dak Prescott should have been fined for or penalized for taunting Jalen Carter. That's what he did. He taunted him. So, you got to be consistent as well. But no, I agree. I don't like these rule changes either. It's just they're trying to civilize the sport, and you can't. You can't do it. Zach Braun played good. Yeah, he did. He got hung out to dry a couple times, but he also chased down Miles Sanders. Oh, yeah, and also kudos to Miles Sanders, too, for coughing that ball up down there near the goal line. That also helped the Eagles out a lot, and the only turnover of that game. So kudos to Miles Sanders. Thank you. But, yeah, Zach Braun did play well. Matt, new schedule changes? And what do you mean? NFL just announced Carter is getting fined. Okay, so no suspension. That's good. That's good. Now, I don't know. Is that going to teach him his lesson? We'll see. But 24-20, Eagles win. They get the season started off 1-0. I think there's more questions than answers with this football team right now. I do. And then they got what? You got the Chiefs, you got the Rams, and you got the Buccaneers. Not easy games. And what is this team? And that's the question I think should be on everybody's lips. And I know there's a lot of uneasiness about this team, and no one wants to talk about it because we're going to gloss over it. We're going to open up the Emporium. We're going to give excuses. That's week one. It's like the preseason. Jalen Carter getting ejected was an excuse because they didn't have him. There's going to be a lot of excuses to try to get the fans to get to sleep tonight or on Thursday night, and I understand that. But Jalen Carter had nothing to do with Adoree Jackson's terrible play in the secondary. Jalen Carter had nothing to do of why A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith were not targeted and why the game plan. If it was the game plan not to throw the ball down the field, which I don't think it was, Jalen Hurts dropped back plenty of times and was looking downfield plenty of times, but he's never pulled the trigger. So, I mean, there's a lot of excuses floating around about what happened on Thursday night and why they struggled or why they didn't come out and blow out the Cowboys. But I hope we're not wasting our time dealing with the excuses and try to look at the real reasons that they struggled. Because we got 15 or 16 of these things left. And if they go out there and play like they did against the Cowboys, against the Chiefs, the Rams, the Buccaneers, they're going to lose. And I agree to that situation. But the Cowboys walked away, missed an opportunity, a golden opportunity to come out of this with to steal a win. And I wouldn't have been surprised if the Eagles would have lost that football game. But they didn't, and they won 24-20. So good stuff for the Eagles at the end of the day. Matt, what is with the new schedule changes? What do you mean, Ricky? I don't understand. Are you talking about this? This is not a schedule change. It's a schedule. There's a lot going on, so I thought I'd toss it into a pretty little graphic to help people out understand it all and when things are going to be coming at them. So there's no real schedule changes. Now, if you're talking about me personally, this is what we got going on for the Fightins final this week. Now, I got to go in for Pat tomorrow night because Pat's not ready to come back. So I'll be doing Pat's show. So I will not do my show tomorrow night. And Mike on Wednesdays got parlays, locks, and that thing, props. So this schedule came out before that show was greenlit. So we're going to switch. I'm going to do his Wednesday and he's going to do my Thursday. So we're making some changes on the fly based on some current situations. So is that what you mean by the schedule changes? I apologize if that's upsetting you. Yes. So the schedule is just a schedule. It's a way to kind of like shrink it all down and make sure that when my hosts are promoting the network, they're hitting all the bases with the shows. They're not forgetting anything because there's a lot going on. We've added a lot of stuff. Football season came along and it added a lot of shows. So making sure we're all on the same page, Ricky. That's all I'm doing. But 24-20 Eagles with the win. Your MVP. Who is your MVP from that game on Thursday night? Who was the person that that greatly assisted the Eagles in winning this football game. And it's a question that me and Kyle Quinn ask every week about who we think the MVP was. I selected Saquon Barkley heading into this game. I said I thought he was going to be my MVP. Kyle went with Saquon as well. I don't think it was Saquon. I really don't. I think we were all looking for more from him. And again, I'm in the same boat when it comes to that mindset of the Saquon Barkley from 2024, but that's not what we got. We didn't get that Saquon. We got a moral version of Saquon Barkley. So who was your game MVP against the Cowboys? There's a few candidates, and I'm going to give you who I think who was the game MVP. So Joe Hale says Jihad Campbell was the MVP. Yeah, a strong game for his first game, but I don't think he was the instrumental driving force that won them this football game. Again, we're talking about the MVP. Who contributed the most to help the Eagles win the game? And my answer, I already told you, CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is my Eagles MVP for this game on Thursday night, because I don't think anybody on the Eagles helped put away the Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb helped put away the Cowboys for me, and that's just how I look at it. I honestly believe the Eagles were that lucky. If CeeDee Lamb catches 2 and that tight end Ferguson catches 1, we're not talking about an Eagles win. We're not. And it's a tough way to live when you're the defending Super Bowl champions playing against a team that heading into this game was inferior to you, was not even allowed to be on the same field as you, and you let them hang around to a point where they should have stolen this game. So CeeDee Lamb is my MVP, and I mean that. I'm not trying to be facetious or anything, because CeeDee Lamb was the Eagles' most valuable player on Thursday night, and that's the way I see it. Now, make sure you come back on Thursday night. As we will get into some deeper diving with this on the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn. We'll talk a little bit more about how we saw this game work out. We'll get deeper into the stats. And, of course, we'll preview the Kansas City Chiefs. And there you go. There's our pretty little graphic for week 2, as we'll look back at the Cowboy game and then look ahead at this week's game against the Chiefs. So that's on Thursday at 7 on the Birds Blast. So I hope you guys enjoyed the little Eagles breakdown there. Because I had to get my point out about that. Why is the schedule being changed? It's not being changed. I'm not changing anything. I put together something that people can see it more clearly, especially my hosts, when they're promoing shows. They're capturing everything. The stuff that I said is changing is because I already explained to you. There were some things put out that schedule prior to some other shows being added, and we're just flip-flopping some nights on the Fightins final. That's all that's really changing. So it's really not a change. Ricky Matt will open the phone lines. Is that what he's talking about? He's talking about schedules. He's talking about phone lines or schedules. All right. Ricky's all like concerned about the wrong things. Phone lines and schedules, not the content. I want to know why the phone lines are open, and I want to know what's going on with the schedule. Keep being you, Ricky. I love it. All right. So before I do open the phone lines, I do want to address the Phillies. Then we'll open up the lines for open discussion. 2 out of 3 from the Marlins. 7 games now, I think they are ahead of the Mets heading into the very, very important series starting tomorrow at the Bank. Phillies and Mets for 4, which should hopefully be the end of the Mets. Phillies go into the series with their magic number sitting at 13. Really missed an opportunity today where they could have gotten it down to 12. But the overarching moments of today's game to me are 2 things. It's the obvious injury of Trey Turner and what that might do to this team long term. And I mean that in all facets. Trey Turner was having his best year as a Philly. There's no mistake in that. And yeah, I think he was the team MVP, even ahead of Schwarber. I really do. What is his lack of his bat in that offensive lineup, which is not, which is streaky as it is, and he was pretty much the only constant all season. What is that going to do to the lineup? What's it also going to do to the leadoff spot? Are we about to get a revival of Kyle Schwarber leading off? Which I hope that's not what we do. I hope tomorrow night when they release that lineup, Kyle Schwarber is not leading off. I please God, if you care about me, you'll grant me this. Kyle Schwarber cannot lead off ever again. That's not where he's supposed to be batting. And what does this do? And who do the Phillies call up? We got in somewhat of a discussion about that earlier on the Fight's Final. A lot of people were pulling for Aiden Miller to potentially get his opportunity. Now Miller just got promoted actually a couple hours ago to the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, so he's moving up to AAA. So he's one step closer to legitimately getting to the Phillies. But is Aiden Miller the answer here? I don't know if he is for a pennant run. I know Edmundo Sosa is not the answer for a pennant run. What is the answer at shortstop if we have to go in or go the rest of this without Trey Turner? 6 weeks was the last time he missed for a torn or a pulled hamstring. He's going to have an MRI tomorrow to find out some more information. But what does this mean for the Phillies long term? And what I mean by that is, I mean the rest of this season into the playoffs. And what do you see as the new middle infield of the Phillies? Obviously, Edmundo Sosa will play some sort of role in this. But I honestly think, you at a very minimum, you pull Kemp back, and then you move Stott over to short, and that's it. I think Stott should go to short for the rest of the season. Play shortstop defensively, and that's mainly for his defense. Not to say that we're losing a Gold Glove in Turner, but obviously with Kemp can't play shortstop. So, I mean, he can play pretty much every other position in the infield. But what do the Phillies do? Do they take this roster spot and bring up another pitcher and say, Edmundo Sosa, you're the guy. We're going to ride and die with you? I hope not. Even at second base, I hope that's not the answer. But Otto Kemp, to me, would probably be the more realistic option here. See, now he's already been up, and he'll probably have an opportunity to, come off the bench at a minimum for the Phillies and play second base on the off days that Sosa can't play. But what does this do to that top of that lineup, and what does this do to the defensive alignment of the Phillies without Trey Turner? And, of course, more importantly, what does it do for their chances of winning a World Series with losing their most consistent offensive bat in 2025? So tomorrow, big time series for the Mets. Magic number is at 13, as I said, as we come down the stretch of this thing. Missed an opportunity today, man. Really, I wish they would have won that game so that we could have gotten a little bit more further, and would have gotten that magic number down to 12, which would have been nice. But yeah, we'll get the Mets in. And of course, the other big news of the day when it comes to the Phillies and that game was the continued struggles of Bryce Harper. Another base running gaffe today by him, where he gets picked off a second, and he had no business even getting picked off a second, but he was so far off second base in a situation that he didn't have to be that far. 1 out, or no outs. Was it 1 out or no outs? No outs, runner on second. No one's forcing him off the base, and I don't know why he was caught in no man's land. And then, of course, he ends the game with a very lackluster at bat. So my question, and I brought it up periodically, and I'm going to bring it up again. Is it time to move on from Bryce Harper? Or is it time to seriously consider an out clause for getting rid of Bryce Harper? And is the Bryce Harper juice worth the squeeze anymore? Because I'm having a hard time trying to process that. And I'm having a hard time trying to justify $330 million a year, or I'm sorry, not a year, but $330 million contract for what I'm getting out of Bryce Harper. And I think that conversation needs to start having to be had amongst the Philly fan base. Is the continued struggles of Bryce Harper, and what does he really bring to this team? He's been making a lot of errors mentally out in the field. Can't execute a rundown to save his life. Apparently now he can't run the bases. Well, he's always had problems with that. And his hitting is either home run or out. And that's really kind of what Bryce Harper has become. And how concerned are you about that, Bryce Harper, heading into the playoffs? So those are my two main takeaways from the Phillies Marlins today. I'm not going to give you my summary of the series. The Phillies should have beaten the Marlins. They should have swept them. The Marlins are dead in the water, and they really should have swept them out of there. They didn't. They missed an opportunity, and now we got the Mets coming in, and we can turn the page on the Marlins to get ready for the Mets tomorrow night. Big 4-game set at the bank, heading down the stretch of this season. And as you can see, the phone lines are open. So if you want to chime on in, come on, get some. As I put the link out to the StreamYard, all you have to do is be able to talk to me. You don't have to have a camera. You just have to have a means to speak to me and hear me. And I'll put you up on stage, and we'll have ourselves a conversation. So come on in. The phone lines are open, and we will entertain anything and everything that you want to bring to the table. You want to talk Eagles? You want to talk Phillies, or do you want to talk Flyers? Because, yes, the Flyers made a trade. Woohoo. Flyers sent long-time former draft pick, muddled around in the AHL, J.R. Avon, to the Seattle Kraken for one of their muddling guys, Tucker Robertson. This is almost like it's like the same player got traded for the same player. To me, there's nothing really needle moving about this. Robertson's going to go right to the Phantoms. I don't even know if he ever sees the Flyers, much like Avon never did. So, Danny B is working them phone lines as we get closer to the start of the season. But I don't know, man. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling the trade, man. I'm really not feeling it. But whatever. We'll take it for what it is, I guess. So the Flyers made a move. And with that being said, let's get into our Of the Night segment. Because, of course, it's Flyers related. All right, so this is the other night segment, and Ricky says he doesn't see the link. All right, let me put it back up. Maybe, no, right there you go, Ricky. I think you see the link because you just chimed in. Ricky saw the link. Let's bring Ricky on. Before we do the other night segment, let's bring Ricky in. Ricky, how you doing, man? What's going on? How you been?
Good man.
Go Phillies. Trey Turner, Ricky, is injured. Is that concern you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A lot of questions about Trey Turner and potential. I mean, we'll know more tomorrow. The MRI is scheduled, whatnot, and we could be without Trey Turner for the rest of the season. Could be without him for a week. We don't know, but Armando Sosa is. Can the Phillies win a World Series with Armando Sosa pulling the burden or pulling the bulk at shortstop?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Ricky, the eternal optimist. I don't see it, Ricky. Honestly, don't. I know Sosa's had himself an above-average offensive season. I'll give you that. And every time the Phillies seem to call his number, he's played well for them. But to put my hopes and dreams on Armando Sosa's bat, obviously he can't lead off. So that's another point. Is Kyle Schwarber going back to the top of that lineup, Ricky?
Mm-hmm.
Ricky, you're really breaking my heart here, man. I do not want to see that at all. But I agree. I don't know who would go back on the top of the lineup. That's the question, because the lineup is not structured to begin with. But Turner led a little stability at that top of that lineup, and now you're right. I mean, is Kyle Schwarber probably the most likable or likely candidate to go back to the top? But I disagree with that, Ricky. But Ricky, you are the eternal optimist, and when we're running down Broad Street, celebrating a World Series and at a parade, I'll look at you and say, Ricky, you were right all along, and I was wrong. But I don't know, Ricky. I don't know about this one, man. But listen, thank you for joining tonight, Ricky. I always appreciate it, man. Keep on contributing, okay, man? All right, there's Ricky. Kind of lost him there at the end. All right, Joe Hales joins me. Joe, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, Joe. It's a long weekend, man. Long weekend.
So I should have said last year's playoff teams. You know,
well, no, it was perfect. It was a perfect segue, Joe. It was the whole hook of my discussion was expectation management? Are we, the way the game worked out Thursday night? I know people were looking for a 44-0 trashing.
I'm going to expose the lines. Detroit Lions were favored by, 20 points going into this game against Green Bay.
And
Green
they lost.
Bay bombed them.
Yeah.
Why? And
Green Bay was a playoff team last year.
And I have to get on you. Mm-hmm. I was listening to PM and the AM. Give more credit to Howie.
For what?
Howie's a genius.
Why?
Oh, okay. Look at his drafts so far this year. And last year.
Okay.
Yes, he might have made a mistake with Jalen Carter.
No, he didn't make a mistake with Jalen Carter. He's an otherworldly talent, but there's something missing in between. But why is Howie a genius? Let's go back to that.
He revamped the offensive line. He's the one that brought in Scotland University. Before, what was it? When Doug Peterson won the Super Bowl, that was Howie's hire of Scotland University.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody liked him. He was nowhere to be found. Howie went hiding from I'm going to call him out on their show, Mike Lombardo.
Okay. Can I talk now? Is it my turn? So Statland University was in full effect the other night. So I don't know. I in my estimation, and I get it. We can't live our life like this. I counted 7 holding penalties on the Eagles offensive line that were never called. Mulatto was holding all night long, criminally holding all night long, and never got flagged for it. And don't tell me he wasn't, because he was. So there was a few plays. Matter of fact, on the Jalen Hurts, I think second touchdown, it was a straight hold that allowed Jalen to get wide. Come on. Yeah, let's call it what it is. Now, Saquon, why did he ever spring himself for that big home run that he typically would do last year? Jalen had more rushing yards than Saquon did. What was the problem with springing Saquon Barkley against the Cowboys?
So you go back to that. That didn't start until the Saints, if I'm correct, which was free last year. When they got by Kansas.
Yeah, I'll even give it after that, because they didn't devote themselves to the run until after the Buccaneers game, after the bye.
I don't know. I like this new play caller, Batua, and you want to criticize the ref. How about, who was it? The punch thrown at Jared Campbell from the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. Where was that call at?
You're right. They missed it. I'm not saying that the refs. I got it, but we can go back and forth with the missed calls all night long. As I said, the offensive line for the Eagles was holding. And you know what the excuse I heard from many Eagles fans was? There's holding on every play. That's such a goddamn homer excuse. But yet, if it's done to us, it's a criminal offense.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. They were holding. Mulatto was holding all night long. He was holding on for his life. And he never got flagged for it. So, great. But let's not try to dress up this turd. This game was terrible. The Eagles should have lost. They should have. They did not play well. Their defense looked like garbage for the majority of the first half and somewhat into the second half. And CeeDee Lamb catches 2 of those balls, and that tight end catches one.
One of them.
And Miles Sanders doesn't fumble. All right? So, listen, I get it. All those things happened. The Eagles won. We move forward. We get the win. But try to, put this game in somewhat of a rational context. It was not a clean game, and it was not the game we expected them to come out and play in a title defense, which is fine because every season is new in the NFL. That's the point I was just trying to make.
Because last year, KC lost opener.
Yeah.
Why I named Jared Campbell MVP? He had a good game, and he forced a fumble on Miles Sanders. Him and Zach Braun.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give you that. I mean, there was only one turnover in the game, and the Eagles got it, and that's key. They won the turnover battle. Eagles didn't turn the football over at all. That's good.
I want to see Marcus Epps starting at the other corner.
Someone's got to get over there. And I did see Dejon Cooper lined up a few times on the outside. They did move
let's
him over
talk
there a
about
couple times.
On your, who's that Cowboys fan that shows up on your show sometimes?
Paul Spencer.
He said that George Pickens was going to have a good game on your show.
He did. He started to have a good game, then he didn't have a good game. No,
he didn't.
Listen. So let me ask you this: who had a better game, Dak Prescott or Jalen Hurts?
Jalen Hurts.
How? Why?
Rushing.
Okay. Is that what we're paying? Yeah, Jalen Hurts did outrush Saquon Barkley. Is that the recipe of success in 2025? Is the Jalen Hurts lead the way in rushing? But who had the best quarterback game? Who led their team as a quarterback the best way? Jalen Hurts or Dak Prescott?
Both of them.
Yeah, Dak played his ass off. Yeah, he did. Played his ass off. Who had the worst game for the Eagles?
Jordan Mailata.
Jordan Mailata or Adoree Jackson?
Adoree Jackson. And why? So I have Red Zone. I binge watched Red Zone today. I only saw the no QB Dean call get called once. And that was on Thursday, and they didn't call it today.
What was it?
The no Kobe Dean penalty.
What's in the Kobe Dean penalty?
No. Who is it? He's from the Florida Gators.
Tim Tebow? Huh? Tim Tebow? Who are we talking about?
On the Eagles.
From the Florida Gators that plays for the Eagles?
Yes. He's the one that stopped Miles Sanders and taunted him.
Oh, no, that was Nolan Smith.
I only saw that called once, and that was against that game.
I thought Nolan Smith went to Alabama.
No, he went to Florida.
Did he really?
Yes, Alabama. And Alabama. So he was in the transfer portal.
Oh, he was? Okay. Yeah, listen, the rules, as you mentioned, I don't like them either. They're trying to civilize a violent sport. They're sucking all the fun out of it. And worse, they're causing the fans to want a penalty on every play, more so than usual. And it's out of control. Now, the shoving of Jalen Hurts out of bounds there in that game, I mean, I don't know about that. That was a
clean call.
Yeah, I thought that was an okay call. They just want a revenge over the whole Jalen Carter thing. I understand that, but you're right. Too many rules are going to make this game. They're going to destroy this game because again, they're looking for penalties in every call. It sucks. But
and I noticed Mr. Automatic already, Jake Elliott.
Yeah, he had a good game.
And the kickoff rules, the new kickoff rule sucks.
Yeah, absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. Let's just do away with it. Everyone start with the ball at the 30-yard line. The hell with it. We don't even do a kickoff anymore.
Hey, it's like college, basically.
Yeah, I don't like it either. It's too damn complicated, man. It's too complicated. All right, Joe, listen, real quick, I'm going to get your thoughts on the Phillies, Trey Turner. How do you feel if the Phillies are without Trey Turner for the rest of the season and the playoffs? One, who's the replacement? And two, does this derail their season?
Well, it's not going to be Otto Kemp. He got hurt. He left the game. He's the other day. What was it? Friday? He left in Lehigh, I believe.
Okay, I didn't see that. Oh yes, I do. I do remember seeing that, but I didn't hear anything more about his injury.
If not Aiden Miller, he's too young. And I want Kemp.
I don't know the other options that they have. They have a bunch of young shortstops. They're not necessarily major league ready. Honestly, they're probably going to go with Sosa, but they need someone to back Sosa up. They need another player, another infielder, another utility guy. Rodolfo Castro's down there. They could bring Castro back up. It might be just a matter of that, just to have a utility guy to sort of be there. But I think if we lose Trey Turner long term, I think they move Stott to short. I think they do that.
I don't think it's going to be long term. The way they were talking was I had them right before you came on, and they're saying at least 2 weeks.
Well, he gets the MRI tomorrow. We'll know more then. But I hope it is. I hope it's not long. I hope it's not 6 weeks like it was last time.
You said something about leadoff. I would move Stott back up.
No, no.
I don't want Schwarber.
I don't want Schwarber either.
I don't want. I don't want the bum Harper. Yes,
What about Bader?
That's a possibility. And Castellanos actually showed up and hit a triple.
Got himself a rare start today. Yeah, and he cashed in with a nice hit there. Yeah. But yeah, that to me is the biggest concern. Not that I'm going to miss Trey Turner's glove because it's very average, but I will miss his bat. It's been very consistent. But what does that do to the already unstable lineup or unstructured lineup of the Phillies when you lose your leadoff guy? You finally commit to a leadoff hitter, and he's done a great job all season. Now you lose him. What does that do to the lineup, and who has to come up and fill that void? I have a sneaky feeling that it's going to be Schwarber because he's done it before. And I don't know. I don't think you move Stott up there.
Can you move Carl Crawford? Can he play second?
I don't think so. He's an outfielder.
He's like his dad.
Listen, Joe, they can't get him up here on regular terms. I mean, maybe they bring Justin Crawford up. And again, for the rest of the regulars, maybe Turner's out for the rest of the season. But we'll be back for the postseason. They bring Crawford up just to give him taste, and then run a rotation of you can't, because who else is going to play? You got Stott, or you got Stott, and you got Sosa. Who else is an infielder that can play second or short? Right, and so you'd have to bring up an infielder. An infielder's got to come up if they go that route. And is it Kemp? Is it Miller? Is it Castro? I don't know.
We're going to find out a lot more tomorrow.
Yeah.
And one more point. Can we get rid of Aaron Nola?
Not for another 5 years.
Hey, we'll trade him with Castellanos.
I'm sure that's going to bring back a hell of a haul.
I just want to get younger. I'm tired of Nola.
Yeah, I am too. And obviously, Nola's coming back.
I agree with what you said. Let's get rid of Harper.
That's the biggest. That's come up a lot lately. And I know he's got to pass because he's Bryce Harper, but I don't know how much longer that can work, because I don't know what he provides to this team anymore. It's either a home run or nothing. And now he's a defensive liability, and his base running is starting to come back up again. I don't know what positive influence Bryce Harper has on this baseball team on the field right now. And I'm trying to find it.
I got you. And I know what Ricky was trying to say. He did message me.
What was he trying to say?
He wants more view on.
Listen, I'm on enough. I'm on enough. And part of my part of this whole process is to get less of me on the air. I'm on every night. That's enough. I got to get the others out there, and I got to get everybody seen. So no, I am not post games, and this show is enough for me. But eventually, if things work out the way I want them to work out, I won't be on at all. I'll just be strictly behind the scenes. But that's a long time down the line.
Who would do your night show? Because we have, who was it? Pat with the bad connection.
Well, I'm talking way down the line when I have enough programming to fill up 24 hours a day.
And that's you seeing your other buddy.
Who's my other buddy?
Steve.
You haven't been seeing Steve, or you?
No, I might be seeing him.
In what way?
I might be going to a Union game with him.
Well, tell Steve I said hi. No, again, Steve's a hard worker. And
I want you to come on with him when he does the Eagles post game. I think that would be good.
One of these times I will. I will definitely one of these times. Thursday night I wasn't going because I know we had Al that was going to jump on. So one of these times, the Eagles post game hopefully will have a co-host every week, a different one, and Steve will be the permanent host. That's kind of how we envision it, and it's just a matter of who can jump on. So yeah, I'm definitely 17 more games or 16 more games left. Yeah, I'll hop on one. So. All right, Joe, listen, I'm going to let you go, man. We're running late, so I got to get a few more things taken care of. But always good to hear from you, Joe, okay?
Yep.
All right, Joe Hale, once again, providing what he provides. Good to always talk to Joe. But all right, let's get back into this. Let's redo the other night thing. All right, the other night segment again. We're still stuck on the Flyers prospects, spotlight players that we're talking about that who could contribute to the greater good of the Flyers next season or this season. Now that we're about there, we're almost through. Matter of fact, I'm wrapping it up here with these last three, I believe. I have three more to talk about, and we'll be through all the spotlight players, even though I've only done 17 because I'm still missing three because I don't know who the number 2 left wing is. I don't know who the number 4 left wing or the number 4 right wing is. And I'm not going to spotlight Nick Delorier. I'm just not going to do that. But here, let's go into it because we've been on the defense. Let's stay on the defense for probably the most underrated, underappreciated, yet grittiest player that the Flyers have had over the course of the last 2 or 3 seasons. And I speak of Mr. Nick Seeler, man. Really kind of came out of nowhere for this team when the Flyers picked him up. They signed him to a semi-long-term contract. Was it last season or 2 seasons ago, 23-24. And definitely Nick is the consummate teammate's teammate. Gives his body to the game, is a shot blocking machine. 77 games played last year for Nick Seeler, 3 goals, 17 assists, 20 points. But look at that. Look at that bottom one, a plus 10. Holy crap. The only Flyer to be in double digits in the plus side was Nick Seeler, and that was because of his gritty play and put in a lot of situations where they needed his unique skill set. And again, underappreciated, undervalued, probably won't be undervalued this year as we try to work out the kinks in our defense. Typically, Nick Seeler is that 7th defender. I don't know if he's that 7th defender this year. He might have played himself into a top 6 role on the Flyers defense based on some of the problems that we're having with that defense. So, and that's a good thing. I think the Flyers are a better team with Nick Seeler in the lineup. He's one of those spark plug guys that you need to win a Stanley Cup. And, his role is pretty much what that role is there. You get 20 points out of him for the season, but you get a gaudy ass plus 10 and a shot blocking machine. So hats off to Nick Seeler, who does not get nearly enough credit for his contributions to the Flyers over the past couple seasons. And here's looking at another stellar season from him as he continues in the role of the gritty defender. And not gritty, the orange hairy guy, but the gritty as in the guy that's going to go in there and do all the dirty work. So there you have it. Our Flyers spotlight player of the night, the underappreciated Nick Seeler, and doesn't really get as much love that he should get. All right, let's get to the final part of the show. All right, the card review. That's how we wrap up every show, and we're back to doing it tonight. Let's see. I got a comment here. Joe says something here. Joe says he's got Nick Seeler rookie card. Yeah, good player, man. I'm telling you, he's a good player. I like him. Speaking of cards, we're going to go and do our card review, and tonight we're headed way back to the wax pack era. We're going back into the 80s tonight, 1988 to be specific, and 88. And Score. Remember Score cards? Score, Dunross, Fleer. They were the other lesser known of the baseball card companies, all trying and nipping at the heels of Topps. Eventually, Topps crushed them all and has pretty much put them all asunder. But back in the day, when I was a young man in '88, I would have been 15? Yeah, I would have been 15 in '88. Wait, really? No, 14. 14 in '88. No. Yeah, 15. Jesus Christ. 15 in 1988. Score was a thing. Fleer was a thing, and Dunross was a thing. So these were all these competing card companies. Now these companies are long gone, but their cards remain. And tonight we're going to talk about a perennial. We're going to talk about a Hall of Famer. We're going to talk about a player that defined his position when he played it, and a player that at one point was property of the Philadelphia Phillies. And I believe we've highlighted him in the worst trades in Philly history, according to me. And this was the, of course, aforementioned Ryan Sandberg trade. So we're going to talk about Ryan 1988 scorecard. And here it is in its glory. Sandberg, of course, has recently passed away. Was also a Phillies manager for a little bit. Spent some time in our minor league system managing there as well. Hall of Famer with the Cubs. A lot of people say the greatest second baseman ever to play the game. There's an argument to be made for older players, but in my era, he is definitely the best second baseman ever to play the game. If Chase Utley's career would have lasted at a little longer, if he hadn't been victim to the injury bug, I could have made a better case for Chase Utley, but Ryan Sandberg was, for all intents and purposes, in my lifetime, the best second baseman ever to play the game of baseball. And here, his 88 scorecard. Nothing fancy schmancy about this. There's probably a reason why Score is out of business. Just a regular purple bordered card with the pitcher. And I don't know why you have 3 stars on the bottom. I don't know the meaning behind that. Maybe I should research that more, but I really don't care. So, but this is anytime again, you've heard me say it in this era, in this generation of cards, Judges, Trouts, Otanis, Skeens, the players that that are the faces of the game. If you ever come across their cards, you always hold on to them. Ryan Sandberg was definitely one of those faces of the game during his time. And whenever you come across a Ryan Sandberg card today, even, always hold on to it because you never know the market it might have. It's a fluctuating market. It is a market that's based off of, fan base of his, Hall of Fame. He's a Hall of Fame player, for God's sakes. You always hold on to Hall of Fame player cards. And this card is open all over the spectrum, anywhere between $1. And I saw it being sold for $1. I've seen it being sold for $50. So it all depends on the desire to own a 1988 Ryan Sandberg Score card. And again, obviously, it's the name. It's the name that drives this card. Nothing very. This is a base card. It's actually the base of a base card. It's really nothing at all to shake a stick at. It's not optically pleasing. It's none of that. But it's Ryan friggin' Sandberg. So it is definitely a card that if you have in your collection any Ryan Sandberg card or any card of players like that, you need to protect and you need to hold on to, because eventually you'll find a seller for them. That's just the way it is with these types of cards, Hall of Fame types of cards. And here's Mayan right there in its physical form. Pretty clean version of this card. I would say a PSA 9 at least, potentially a 10. Yeah, I mean, I could try to sell it for $50. I doubt I'm going to sell it for $50, but there might be a market out there for it. But it's Ryan Sandberg. It's a Hall of Famer. It's a wax pack card, which doesn't do well for its value either, because there's a ton of these made and there's a ton of them out there. But it comes down to conditioning at that point. But there you go. Ryan Sandberg's 88 scorecard is your card review of the night. Always hold on to Hall of Fame cards. Always hold on to them, no matter who they are. Joe House, great show. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. And I do appreciate everyone's contributions on the program tonight. I finally had a chance to throw my bow around the Eagles game, as contextually speaking, it was not the way we wanted the season to begin. And there are more questions, in my opinion, right now about this Eagles team than there are answers. Thankfully, you have 16 more of these things to work that out. But this struggle in 2025 will be its own struggle. It's not 2024 part 2. It's a whole new season. And the Eagles got a scare the other night. They did. And they should have lost, but they won. That's great. But there's a lot to clean up, and there's a lot of questions to be answered. And we went over some of those questions. What's going on with the secondary? Obviously, we might be sitting in a position right now that we made the wrong free agent decisions, and how we made the wrong decisions with trading. Jalen Hurts, why could he not throw the football down the field? What was so bottled up down there that he couldn't get the ball to A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith? Saquon Barkley failed to deliver on the home run hit that we've become so accustomed to him doing, and he was outrushed by the quarterback. The Eagles pass rush. Jalen Carter affected? I don't know. Jalen Carter, what's going on there? So a lot of questions about this team, more than answers at this point. Week 2 will be an interesting get against the Chiefs. It's on the road. Chiefs backers are against the wall. They lost. They had to win that game. So it's going to be an interesting game on Sunday. and we'll be there to cover for you. So you guys have a great week. I will be back on the Fighting's Final tomorrow night. I am on for Pat as we will do Phillies Mets. Great series starting at the bank. No final word tomorrow night. I'll be back with the final word on Tuesday. And then no final word on Wednesday because of Fighting's Final. And then I'll be back on Thursday for the final word. So kind of a every other day final word this week. But that's okay. We'll make it work. Big day on the network today. 5 shows, I think it was today. 4 or 5. We welcomed in the Steel City Sunday guys, and they had a interesting day. They got off and running. That's all that matters to me. And of course, we did some P&M in the A&M, and we did some Fighting's Final, and of course, the final word. So great day for everybody. I want to thank you for your continued support. Please like, share, and subscribe. It would be greatly appreciated. And we will talk again tomorrow, or I'll be back on the final tomorrow, but we'll be back on this program on Tuesday. You guys have a great rest of your night and an even better tomorrow. I will see you.